What's up, guys? This is Matt talking to you, and as soon as I transition the scene, you will see Dan and Opie as well. They're right there, next to me. Opie is getting his fandoms confused.
I remember when the TIE Fighter came in.
That's right.
I told you. I don't need dragons.
You don't
I
need
just rode the TIE Fighter in.
Right.
That would have taken care of everything. Guys, we just watched Season 7, Episode 4 of Game of Thrones. It's kind of a boring episode. There wasn't really anything that happened.
Nothing really happened.
This is going to be a short.
I don't even know if we should really just end it. I mean, there's not really much to talk about.
I'm just watching Obi move Star Destroyers and TIE Fighters around me.
I don't have any dragons right here.
Dude, Ben's got a bunch in his room. I should have gone and got those and just sat them on my shoulders.
That would have been cool.
Hey, guys, this is Matt, first of his name, Mother of Dragons.
The Italian Stallion.
The Italian Stallion.
So, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of really cool stuff happened this episode. We were totally kidding.
Yeah, it was good.
Things went down.
I've got a list of I was trying to keep straight all the different storylines that were going on, and then that last bit happened and I forgot all of it, so I'm gonna have to look at my list. So let's not blow our load at the beginning. Let's go through.
He once knew what it felt like to be Matt Selby, but he's no longer Matt Selby.
What are you talking about?
He's playing Brand.
No,
Oh,
He's no longer. I'm sorry. He's
no longer because
He's now he's the artist formerly known as Brand.
I'm the four-eyed raven. So
he didn't even say it. He didn't even say it the whole episode. We were supposed to drink when
I know.
I'm the
First time I didn't even bring
it up.
Didn't even bring it up.
That or
it reminds me of Bran and his three-eyed raven reminds me of when we watched Serial Experiments Lane, and she's just sitting there. Why am I here? He's like, I'm the three-eyed raven. Anyway, so it goes without saying, spoiler alert, because we just watched the show. We're going to talk about everything, including the end. You definitely don't want to watch this first if you haven't watched that yet, because the ending was really cool.
First of all, let's say this.
Say it.
This HBO got hacked. Okay,
Sure.
So things happened. We still held off with no spoilers.
I had no idea.
For 2-3 days, and still were able to watch the episode fresh.
And I'm a heavy
And I
Twitter
hope
user.
Everybody did that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not. So I'm like, I don't even know what social media is. I still churn my own butter. I gotta ride a bike.
this is the guy that didn't know that Chester from Lincoln Park had committed suicide.
We don't need to talk about that. We don't need to talk about that.
I'll have my own video of apology on that.
That's how not social media Dan is.
Right. Hey, J-Dub didn't see any spoilers either.
Yeah,
Good for
we were
you.
able to keep going. And I am proud of anybody who did not go to the spoilers. That is awesome of you. Give HBO your support. They're the ones that made the show. They're bringing it to us, and we wanted it. That was awesome.
Absolutely.
So anyways,
Plus, why do you
why would you spoil it?
Yeah, why would you spoil it? Like, why would you watch it early? Because then it's like, come Sunday, it's like, oh, well, I don't have anything to watch.
Why does Dan get to sit on the Iron Throne on the screen? Why is he on the
Good
Iron
point. You know what? That's a good point.
He is the blonde-headed one. So if there's anybody that's a Lannister out of us three, it's
I'm just really good at playing the Game of Thrones. All right,
I've got red hair, so I'm start. There we go.
You put me back on the arm.
I fix it. Actually, I am going to move myself back because the way my monitors are set up, I have to. You guys, to me, are on the right, and if I look that way, it looks like I'm looking at you.
Listen, the reason I'm on the throne is because I have the most knowledge. It's like I'm the Septon.
Well, Dan is the blonde. He's blonde like the Lannisters, who are.
He's a Lannister.
Yeah, he's running the throne right now.
And I'm a Stark because I'm redheaded.
And I'm the three-eyed raven.
Wait, Stark's a redheaded? I don't remember Stark's being redheaded.
Sansa's
You're like a Tarly or a
Sansa's redheaded. I'm not a Tarly.
You're like Samwise.
What's a small house?
You're Podrick.
You're Podrick. Straight up. Although the women love him, so
Matt's
Podrick.
Matt looks like
Matt straight Ironborn. There you go. He's all about.
I mean, I kind of equate myself to Jon Snow, but
of course you do. No, Matt, no, really.
But I don't want any special treatment. I don't want you guys to,
Don't worry, we won't give you. Anyways, let's talk about.
Anyway,
the show.
yeah. So, spoiler alert: Game of Thrones, season 7, episode 4. This was the shortest one ever, right? Like 50 minutes.
Yes,
Right?
this was supposed to be very shortest episode. I think it was 50-something minutes, and it's the shortest of the entire
Yeah,
series.
on HBO Now it was 58 minutes total, and that was with the preview and the extra bit at the end, the inside the show or whatever.
Just throw this out here. Sweet Caroline takes every internet test, and she's always a Greyjoy.
Right,
Oh.
nice. She's
Just
Yara.
just be a Theon or a Yara. Don't be a
Don't be urine.
Don't be urine.
Don't be
All right, so as usual, we're going to go through not necessarily step by step, but we are going to go through the different threads, the different storylines that we touched on this week, and there was a couple cool ones. The first one, I don't know. Well, I wrote down my first two lines are Jaime with the gold, and Cersei with the Iron Bank. So really, you can kind of
we already knew that was going to happen. That was so obvious from the last.
right.
episode.
So I mean, there wasn't much. Basically, you know, after the Lannister army overtook Highgarden, you know, they stole their money so that they could pay back their debts. And Cersei, or no, it was Jaime said, you know, we always pay our debts. Well, that's great. You do it by stealing other people's money, sure, but
Well, I mean, they took down a house that was against them. That's how this plays out because everybody's fighting for the Iron Throne. The Tyrells, right? The Tyrells.
Tyrell.
Yeah, Tyrell.
Tyrell.
They were against the Lannisters, so it's it's a fight because two houses were against each other. So they took everything that house had after they destroyed that house.
Yeah,
right.
Smack that house around.
That's how it works in the Middle Ages. They did get all the gold back. That was referenced as well.
Yeah, they got all the money.
Except
So
for Braun's big old gift.
can we go ahead and say that Bronn is one of the greatest characters in the show?
Yes, we can say that right now
Can
because
we-
he's amazing.
I mean, can we please?
Super cool.
So let's put a pin in that. You know, the Lannister army took all the Tyrell gold, and they are on the road back to King's Landing. And Cersei even mentioned, my brother is overseeing the transfer of the money back here, and at the same time, Cersei's talking to the guy from the Iron Bank, talking about the money's coming, and so let's put a pin in that. The Lannister army is on the road back to King's Landing.
They talk about something else in Essos or something. I forget what it was. It was. He makes reference to something. And she's like, "Oh yeah, I use them too to find things that I need to find." And I can't remember what the house was or what they were talking about. And it's some other group that she had been working with, and I don't know what it is. That could be a small little statement that is supposed to spark something later on. But I've caught that in between their conversation there, which was interesting.
Well, I took it. I thought she was talking about how the Lannisters helped the Iron Bank, basically. They're like repo men. Like they help the Iron Bank collect on people who aren't paying their.
It's not the Lannisters. It's some other group that she uses as well. There's some. He mentions somebody, and she says, "Yeah, we've used," or she mentions it, and he's like, "Oh, we've used their too," and he's like, "Yes," and she goes, "Yes," and there are certain things I want back and things like that. It makes a reference to it. And I don't know who she was talking about. I didn't catch every bit.
That
of
was a little. Yeah,
I think about a little cryptic. So I wonder what that was. But anyways, you did okay. Good input, Opie. Good input.
Well,
so anyway, there you've got that whole bit with the money, with the Lannisters and the money and the Iron Bank, and they're going to repay their debts to the Iron Bank. Not a lot there, but we'll come back to that. So the biggest thing for me is, well, besides the obvious, is or one of the major things is all the stuff going on in Winterfell. So we've got Bran and Littlefinger. Littlefinger gives Bran.
There's no Bran there, Matt.
The three-eyed raven. He remembers when he was Bran, but now he remembers so much more.
He died in that cave. Okay, he died.
Which cave were they talking about?
The cave where they were in, and he gets marked by the king. The Night King gets drug out, and Hodor has
all
to
tangled up in the roots
that
of
cave.
tree.
That's
Hold the door
underneath that tree. Yeah,
hold the door.
Yeah, she's like you. She tells him, she's like, "You died in that cave."
Yeah,
because he does. He becomes the Three-Eyed Raven because the Three-Eyed Raven is dead.
Sure.
So it has to take on that duty, and that's Bran. He has a little meeting with Littlefinger, and it's almost like I just laugh because we were talking about of the artist formerly known as Bran, blah, blah, like almost like he's better than you, and then he says something that spooks Littlefinger.
Yes, and I wrote that down because I was going to ask you about it.
Chaos is a ladder. And it spooks Littlefinger for a second because in an episode, the episode that ended with Littlefinger monologuing to Varys when they met in the throne room about who was better at deceiving the kingdom, Littlefinger goes on this tirade about chaos and how it's a ladder to walk up on. And during that scene, it shows the picture of the whore that gets shot up by Joffrey with the bow.
Yeah.
It shows Sansa getting taken off in the boat, and like Littlefinger had just won the game, or the boat was leaving and she was still stuck there, or something had happened. There was a bunch of stuff that Littlefinger had put into motion at that point. It said chaos was a ladder. Well, Bran saw all that and makes that remark to him in there, and it kind of spooks Littlefinger at that point. That was an episode like in 4th season or 5th season when he does that. He does this great monologue at the end of the episode.
I remember that. I don't remember, exactly, but yeah, I remember a bunch of stuff happening all at once, and Littlefinger was giving his speech, and
so Varys, yeah, because
yeah,
Varys had just said, I have all my little spies and all this stuff, blah blah. And Littlefinger's like, no, listen, let me tell you how it's done. And it was kind of an episode where Littlefinger wins at the end. That's
right.
Pretty much.
So that, and I don't remember, this is all the way season 1. I don't even remember the thing with the knife and Bran and the assassin that tried to take him out.
Everybody thinks, okay, so supposedly it was Littlefinger's knife, and supposedly he got it stolen by Tyrion. Bran makes mention, says, yes, I know who this knife belongs to, but never says who it is. But Littlefinger returns it to him just like as a, hey, here's a gift, and also I'm here to protect your family, because and part of me says, yeah, he probably would have stepped in front of Catelyn dying because he was in love with her. But him protecting the kids, he's going to do whatever he wants to get his own way. He sold Sansa to freaking so, it was just like, yeah, he's going to do what he has to do to win what he wants. So.
Yeah. I know, I agree, definitely. Littlefinger's in it. He loved Catelyn, but outside of that, he's in it for himself.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
And the only reason he's there is because the twins had saved him. Not the twins. He's from the Eyrie. The Eyrie had won the day for them at that battle, and they need those soldiers there to be able to stay. So she tolerates Littlefinger for now, at least.
Well, yeah, because he helped them win he brought his army in.
Yeah, Battle of the Bastards.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying, because they're just kind of playing it political right now. If anything, Sansa probably wants him dead and out of there, but he has to stay around due to political things and because he has the majority of the army of the North. So,
which I really hope, I think their theories are floating around. I really hope that it is Arya that kills Littlefinger and then takes his face.
You know what? I think it will be. I think if Littlefinger even dies, you always have to have that sneaky, conniving type person that makes it to the end that you hate. So he could be that guy. I think he's finding out that the Starks are not to be trifled with, because I think, first of all, you have Bran that's like, listen, dude, I'm not Bran anymore. I'm the artist formerly known as Bran. I don't even care what goes on here. You want me to tell you about a bad past? I'll tell you.
Yeah.
And then you got Sansa, who's like, no, I'm not going to marry you. No, my brother's in charge. No, we're not scared of you. The North will follow us. We are, the North. So I don't care what you have to say. And then he gets the Arya. And she is awesome. And he's even, at that moment, you even see in his face like, what's up with these Stark kids?
Okay, so let's so hold on. Let's talk about the other big thing.
What have I got myself into?
Right, exactly. He has no control over what is happening here.
Right. So Arya is another big thing. Arya returns to Winterfell, which is a big thing. And they mentioned it in the bit after the episode about, this season is a lot about homecoming and everybody's finally getting back together. The Starks are getting back together. Sansa and Jon and then Bran or Three-Eyed Raven, and now Arya is back at Winterfell as well. And now I loved the scene. I thought she was going to kill one of those, one of the two. Well, I guess she wouldn't have, but I thought she was going to hurt one of them when they wouldn't let her in.
She was being nice. She could have got in that castle anyway. She tells him that she's like,
I'm going to get in. Yeah.
I'm just giving you an opportunity to not get messed up because my sister's going to beat the crap out of you if you tell me to go away. So
what I thought was going to happen, and we I kind of mentioned it while we were watching, but like when she was sitting on the bench and then they turned around, she was gone. I kind of thought like maybe she had left because she was looking around, and they mentioned it after the episode that she realizes that things aren't the same.
Yeah.
And I thought maybe she was looking around saying, this is home, but this isn't me anymore. I need to head back south. So I thought it was going to be that she left. And I was scared. I was like, I wanted that reunion.
No, I don't think she would have left, but she does know it's a new era for
right.
Winterfell. She knows that. She looked around and saw nobody that she knew or the people that she she had grown up with, and so she felt comfortable in the crypt. I guess is the best way. All my baby Starks home again. They are, except for Rickon. We're good.
And
Rob, but he wasn't a baby at the time.
Well,
Rickon
yeah.
was the baby. And he gets.
They were all pretty young at the beginning.
Yes, but so she goes down the crypt. She feels comfortable there. I think that's why she went down there, because that is a place that she knows, and it didn't make her feel as weird being down there instead of all these new people that she has no idea who they are. And then, of course, Sansa comes down to say hi because she knew where she went. And I liked how they started off, still a little awkward with each other because they were sisters.
It's been years since they've seen each other,
and they both have been through incredible crap. I mean, just stuff that they had to survive on both sides, and it's just like, and then it kind of breaks the mood when they start talking about their dad. And she's like, we both had bad pasts, but that's in the past. We still have our future ahead of us. And they kind of hug again, and you feel more comfortable with them, even though they're still a little separated. I think because they've always been at each other's throats, even when they were kids.
Yeah. Lou brings up a good point. It was the first time she saw her father or his likeness since she saw him beheaded.
Oh, yeah.
That's a good point. And, she says that it doesn't look like him. And while we were watching, we said, well, his head's on a spike in King's Landing. If they could have just got that and put that on top of the statue.
Wow. And that would have been perfect.
That would have been insensitive, though.
You have a list?
Yes. Talking about our list.
This goes to the fight in the courtyard. So the list thing. So,
well, do you think I think that Arya or Sansa thought that Arya was joking when she said she had a list of people she wanted to kill.
Sansa doesn't even know Arya can fight.
Right.
She has no idea about it. This is why I'm saying it. This plays to the next scene, or to a scene a little bit later, which is Arya goes up to Brienne of Tarth and is like, hey, I want to train with you because you're the one that killed the mountain, or fought the mountain, or killed the mountain. She thinks the mountain's still dead too, or not the mountain, the hound killed the hound. She's like, so I want to train with you. And then they have their little combat thing where Brienne's kind of like, whoa, she's pretty slick. This girl knows what's going on. And they have their little duel, but Sansa sees this. It kind of goes like, what has my sister been doing?
Yeah, where did she learn that?
I also think Sansa was ticked off because she's got Jon, who they love and made king, and who is this great fighter. Then she's watching her sister beat one of the best swordsmen in the entire of Westeros right there in the courtyard, kicking her butt. And they kind of come out as like a draw, but it was a great fight between the two of them. And you just kind of, and she's sitting there, like, all I did was... whatever. I just have the crap kicked out of me everywhere I go. I go with Joffrey, I get the crap kicked out of me. Go with Ramsay, I get the crap kicked out of me. All I've done is escaped.
But she survived. I mean, she
survived. Yeah. And she's a lot more. She's a lot harder person than she was, but she's still. She walks away from that. She's like, first of all, she doesn't know her sister, and secondly, she's got to be a little ticked off. And look that in the face. And of course, Littlefinger's up there going, oh, dang. Stark kids are crazy, man.
These Stark kids, yo. Woo, Lou says she learned, I guess Arya learned part of that.
Yeah, under Syrio, I think is the character's name. Syrio taught her to dance, fighting dance style. And that's why I thought it was weird when she goes, where did you learn that? She's like, I didn't learn it from anyone. It's like, no, you learned it from Syrio. It's okay to say his name. He was a great fighter. You learned most of that from him. I mean, you probably learned more stuff at the House of 1,000 Faceless People house land.
The House of Black and White.
that one.
When Brienne asked Arya, who taught you that, she said no one, which is perfect because a man has no name. No one.
Right, but Syrio wasn't her trainer. Syrio was the season 1.
Right.
So I mean, she could have said his name. I mean, we're just arguing over nothing really, but yeah. Anyway,
but that scene, and what I noticed was the joy in Arya's face. Like, she was smiling the whole time that she was sparring against Brienne, which I thought was pretty telling. Like, she enjoys this.
Well, she wants to learn, and I think Brienne will bring that out of her because she has somebody she can fight against and feel like, okay, I'm on a level with this person. We can fight against each other and have a good time, and I can keep my training.
I just almost feel
she
like
she loves combat too.
Yeah, but I almost feel like Brienne, their styles are different. Brienne is, a master swordsman, but she is, she's direct and she's, forward, and she just gonna go at you with a sword. While Arya is a little bit more shifty. She's a little bit more, I guess, stealthy, if you will. Like their style, it's just their styles are different. So it would be a weird, that would be a weird thing for Brienne to teach her because her style is different. You know,
she's not.
Arya's a rogue.
They're not training. They're just they keep their practice up against each other.
Oh, right. Yeah.
It's not like Brienne's gonna be like, hey, take this giant sword now and fight against me. It's like, no, Arya has her style, Brienne has hers, and they're gonna train.
Well, Brienne said that sword's too little.
And do that every day, which keeps them frosty on their abilities. Because at the first of the fight, Brienne's kind of in shock for the first few rounds. They're like, what the freak? And then finally Brienne, when she gives her the boot to the chest, is like, oh, okay, now she's taking it seriously.
Yeah.
And they get to a draw at the end of that. But that makes for a good fight. And that's
that shot though of Brienne with her sword and Arya with her dagger up to the neck, and they're like frozen for a minute. That was an awesome.
Yeah,
that was an awesome shot. So Carolyn says, Sansa, no one can protect me. Arya, I'm no one. Did they say that in the episode?
I don't remember.
I don't pick up on that.
I didn't either.
But Arya technically isn't no one because she, Arya, she disavowed that, when she was training with the man with no name,
she did, but at the very end of that, he asks her again, who are you? And she says, I'm Arya. At the end of the black and white, and he smiles about that, like she kept her abilities, even though she took the training of these assassins. And he is happy with her training by the end of that. When she has to kill the other girl, he asks her blatantly, like, who are you? And she doesn't give the answer of I am no one. She gives the answer, I'm Arya Stark.
That's right.
And she says, I'm going back to kill those that need to die. And he's like, all right, cool. He's like, you have a handle on who you are now, but you also are an assassin. And you know what that life is. And you can handle both of those and still be able to keep who you are.
Which that's pretty cool to be both. I mean, I find that interesting to have your foot in both worlds, the mysterious assassin world, but also still keeping your name and your family. And I like that.
But that goes back to the whole point. She plays as Arya. Was the time, and if somebody needs killing, she can play in the house of black and white and really face God.
Right.
Do her job she needs to do.
So yeah, so all the Stark kids are back together. Including, and we'll talk more about that in just a second. So the other big thing before the big thing, we get some more Dany and Jon time, which is awesome.
Which they go through the caves. He shows her the
dragon glass. He says, "I want to show you what I want here," and she didn't know it was there. Yeah. I like that Opie said the mini map showing me. My mini map shows me that there's a treasure.
A node. Yeah, I've got some nodes over here I need to mine real quick.
Opie has been playing a lot of Minecraft lately. So yeah, they go in there, and then they also find another little special room where Jon takes her in and they make out.
Jon wanted to show her what he'd been up to, so he's little drawings and stuff.
It wasn't Jon's.
Jon drew it on the walls himself right before she came in.
She comes in and he's like got his feet kicked up, and he's like kicking his feet behind him while he's drawing on a rock. He's like, yeah, hey.
She walks in, he's drawing on the wall. He hides the chalk real quick. Look what I found. It's been here for centuries. So yeah, she
I know what he wants to show her.
So Jon shows Dany the dragon glass, the enormous amounts of dragon glass. Plus he shows her the hieroglyphics from the Children of the Forest.
Children of the Forest.
And talks about how the Children of the Forest fought alongside man to defeat the White Walkers, and that was, kind of
Which
like,
is
hey,
weird because it was the reason the Children of the Forest at first were fighting men, and the reason the White Walkers came around is because the Children of the Forest created the Night King, who could bring the dead back to life, who ended up being the worst of two evils, and they had to join forces with the men who they had created the Night King to fight with. It's a whole thing.
It's a thing, yeah.
Drama. It's all drama.
And so that kind of opened Daenerys' eyes to, maybe he really is telling the truth, or maybe there is a bigger threat out there. At least that's what I got out of it. And she said, so you're saying you can't do this without my help? He says, that's right. She says, I will fight for you. And I was thinking, yes, they're gonna do it. And then she says, when you bend the knee. I was like, so, and he won't do it. And I get what he's saying about his people won't accept a queen from the South.
But she has a good point. She said, if you accept me, they'll accept it.
If you accept, yeah, exactly. And I feel like he's starting to turn the corner on Dany because when John and Sir Davos met with Melisandre, and she was telling her how Dany freed the slaves and how she, is kind of noble and doing all this good stuff. I feel like John is starting to see how that she's good, but he also is still skeptical. Melisandre says if I wanted to leave, she would let me leave. He doesn't think that she would. I don't know. I mean, he's starting to warm up to her.
Yes,
but he still won't. I think. Do you think he'll bend the knee?
I don't think he's going to have to. I think they're going to have to do something quicker.
I think something major is going to happen to where they're going to, because you got half the people watching the show go, "Don't do it, John! Don't you fall to her!"
It's not, and John. It's going to be like what John says all along. It's not going to be about that. It's not going to be about that.
Yeah, he's like, it's no point in doing this crap because because what's coming doesn't care, and they don't care about what's going to happen with Opie.
Worse because after Daenerys has, if she takes out the Lannister army and she has a win and starts gaining momentum, she's going to see Well,
that comes on to some of the scenes that we saw for next episode, like with Varys talking to Tyrion, like, you need to ring her up, roll her in because she's doing the wrong thing right now.
Right.
And she needs to they need to put her in check because she will get the big head of, I just destroyed the Lannister army. Now I'm going to go kill Euron's army. It's like that. We get that, but you're looking as a person, a foreign army invading Westeros. That's
So one interesting part was when Dany learns the news of, sure, the Unsullied took Casterly Rock, but there was nobody there, and then half their fleet was wiped out. Yep. She asked, and I thought this was interesting. She said, John said, "What do you think I should do?" And he's like, "I just want the dragon glass. I don't care what you do. I'm gonna go fight the more important fight." No, I know, but I mean that's kind of what that's the look that he gave in his face. He's like, I don't know.
It was like uncomfortable people in the room. They're just like, we're gonna go get some.
But but I liked what he told her. He said, if you start burning castles and soldiers, you're gonna look no better than what's come before. Exactly. You're not gonna look any different than anybody else.
Exactly.
Which I thought was interesting, but apparently she doesn't heed that warning.
She won't until it bites her in the rear.
Something bad's one of the dragons is gonna die, I'm sure.
She'll probably try to take it to King's Landing to burn the keep or do something to attack, and one of the dragons are gonna get killed, and she's finally gonna learn a lesson in a hard way. And that'll be it. Or you never know. She may just do it the Dany way, and she seems to be doing that all the time, and she seems to win when she does it the Dany way.
But she's been and this kind of sounds like a Trump thing, but she's been winning so much. She's been the whole series. She's been winning. She won over the Dothraki. She won over all the slaves. She won over the Unsullied. She's won everything. Yeah. She is gonna. I feel like she was gonna take a hard loss at some point, whether it be one of the dragons or half of her army gets decimated or whatever. She's going to lose something at some point.
So when this battle took place, Jamie already said that the gold had reached the gates of.
Yes. They already got the gold inside.
So there's really nothing to gain except for wiping out the Lannister army.
Wiping out the army.
That was the whole point. They weren't going for the gold.
Yeah.
I thought they might be able to restore Highgarden and gain them back as an ally.
That whole comes down to there's no Highgarden people left.
The Tyrells are done.
They're dead. It's like the phrase. They're gone. So it's like an empty castle sitting there, and then they can promise that to somebody, but who knows if that person can hold it, because another army will rise up and attack and take it back and say they get it. It's right now. It's just up in the air on who owns what. We just know that the Tyrells are gone. The Freys are gone. The Lannisters are getting close to being gone. The Blackfish, Catelyn's family, they're gone. There's certain families that have just been wiped out. They're just out of there. So, they were just going to destroy that army. That was the whole point of that attack.
Right. So that takes us to the end. So John tells Dany, don't do this. Don't be any different than, or don't be the same as everything that's come before. Don't just start blowing people up. She doesn't listen apparently, and we get the awesome last 10 minutes or so um, where it's the aftermath of the Lannisters have gotten the gold in. So remember when I said the Lannisters were on the road back to King's Landing? They pretty much get there. They get the gold inside, but before they all get inside, the entire Dothraki army just comes over the hill. They start taking
you forgot about the John Theon meeting.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, thanks. And Sweet Caroline's got another. John is Azor High. Library has to be forged with the heart and soul of dearest love. John may have been to kill, sacrifice Drogon to save everyone. My theory. Interesting.
Well, yeah. So I read about that today about Azor High. So yeah, Azor High had to, in order to forge the Lightbringer, he had to run it through his wife. And if John has to do that, is Drogon? Why would it be Drogon?
Why would Drogon be his dearest love?
Yeah.
That's
He doesn't really have a love.
Who would be his dearest love right now? Egret, but she's dead.
She did.
She be dead.
She
I don't know
did.
I don't know what his dearest love would be.
Sir Davos. I mean, they're pretty tight.
When a man loves a man.
Sansa. I mean, I don't.
Yeah, no, they're family, but I don't think this is dearest love. As of right now, I don't know who his dearest love would be. But that's interesting. That's a good theory.
That's a good theory. But then on the flip side, if Dany is Azor Ahai, who is Dany's love? Dany's greatest love is the dragons.
Yes, she could probably kill Drogon.
So maybe Dany does that. He's
Dany's soul.
I wasn't really impressed with the Scorpion, though. I thought it would be a much bigger arrow.
Maybe. I mean,
maybe it's just the penetration power, I guess, that it has.
Could be. And plus, it's Braun's firing with a lot of distraction there, so he's not going to get a good aim or anything on him.
But yes. So real quick, so John and Theon reunite for the first time, and I don't even remember how long. Now, I don't remember where John and Theon left off. John remembers that. I mean, John knows that Theon basically betrayed them all.
Yeah.
And he said, "What you did for Sansa is the only reason I'm not killing you."
Yeah. Yeah, because he heard about the stories there with the Boltons, with Ramsay and everything. Did Dany ever say that Drogon was her soul in the show? Because I don't remember that at all, her ever saying that. I mean, so you're thinking that because Jon falls in love with her, the dragon is her soul, and therefore he has to run the sword through the dragon to kill the dragon, which makes Lightbringer.
Drogon is Dany's soul.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. You think that's true, or is that just a theory, or did she actually say that in the show or in the books? Because I don't remember that at all.
And Drogon getting wounded could be foreshadowing that.
Maybe. But I mean, that's what I'd like to know. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Matt. I'm still wondering about this. Is that a theory going around that she thinks that that is his actual? It's in the books
that he's her favorite.
That he's her favorite. Well, I understand that.
Well, he's the one she rides.
I get that. But I mean, if Jon falls in love with her,
that's not going to happen because they're aunt and nephew. So that's
they don't know that, Matt. So, anyways,
but we know that.
It doesn't matter if they fall in love with each other. I don't think the dragon is her outward presentation of her soul, and that he would say, I love her so much I have to run my sword through the dragon. I don't know. Maybe I'm not trying to argue with you, Sweet Caroline. I'm not trying to fight with you.
But she's the mother of dragons, first of her name, Queen of the Dothraki.
I'm just confused by that. I don't know if it would work out that way, but maybe she has to sacrifice a dragon. I don't know. It's interesting. Anyway, back to the show. I'm sorry.
So I don't remember where John left off with Theon.
Somewhere. We know the last time they saw each other was before the war started in the north, before Ned had died. John had already gone to the wall.
Yeah.
So
John went to the wall.
He hasn't seen Theon since the first season.
Well then,
but he's heard the stories of what's happened to his family and who's backstabbed his brother, and he's heard the stories of who what had happened with the Boltons and all that stuff. He knows what's going on.
Well, who was Theon with when Ramsay basically kidnapped him? I don't even remember.
Ramsay, no. He wasn't Theon had raided the Winterfell home, killed one of the guys there, took it over, burned a couple farm kids, said they were Rickon and Bran. and somebody was outside the gates, and I think it was probably the Boltons, and he was sitting there trying to pump up all the ironborn in there, and they knocked him out, and they sold him too.
But what I don't remember is what caused Theon to flip. Basically, I don't remember.
Theon flipped because he was fighting for his family. He was fighting for the Greyjoys.
Yeah.
He had been a warden. He was a warden of. Yeah, he's been a warden of the Starks. He was there due to the last war.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so when he goes home,
His dad
feels his ironborn, and he's like, "I'm going to fight for my dad now, and prove to him that I'm worth."
Okay.
Yeah, his dad gave him a hard time. He's trying to prove himself.
That's right. That's right. Okay. No, I remember. Oh yeah, so you're right. So John hadn't seen Theon since he went to the wall the first time.
Right.
Yeah, so that was cool. So we didn't get a lot of that. We just got the reunion,
Him just threatening his life. It's
which I thought.
trying to look good for his dad. Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay, I remember now.
Which he was trying to improve himself, and he was still just a punk kid at that point too, until he lost.
Because he's so much better now.
Right. Well, yeah. He's just scared.
Right. He's broken.
He's weak now.
Yeah.
He's completely broken.
He's completely broken, except for when he helped Sansa escape.
That was it. It was like a burst of courage.
Yeah.
And that was it. So let's move on. Let's go to the finals.
Yeah. So yeah, back to the final bit. So, they get all the gold back into King's Landing, and I like that. Bronn's being Bronn. Bronn when he meets Sam's brother Dickon, and Bronn just laughs. I mean, that's why Bronn is one of the greatest characters. And I love that Bronn is. Like, he's not a bad guy, but I also love that he's not very noble. He's just all about the money.
Right. He's always been a sellsword since
he was with Tyrion. He was buddies with Tyrion when Tyrion could give him money, and then when that didn't happen, he hooked up with Jaime. And now and he's not a bad dude. He's a good guy, but he's out for himself. And
he's a hired gun mercenary.
Yeah, I like that. I've always liked that type of character in stories like this. But I like that he was the one who, Bronn's always pretty. I liked, and I'm focusing on Bronn so much because we saw a different side of him in this than we normally do. Bronn was, as soon as he is the first one to hear the Dothrakis coming over the hill, and instantly he was like, all serious and, telling Jaime when he sees the army, tells Jaime to get back, that they can't, they can't hold him off. And I just like that we see Bronn like really sort of being a badass and, doing what he does best.
Well, yeah, I don't know if he's a bad mofo in the fight, but he does. I mean, he lives and he takes some people down and stuff like that. He tells Jaime to get out of there when they start charging. He's like, "We're gonna die here. This is it. We're not gonna win this fight right here." And I did like before that he's laughing and he's telling the other kid.
List.
Right, brought us down the list. He shot a dragon. He's telling that other kid, like, yeah, men who die in battle, they crap themselves. They're talking about the fight and all this other stuff. And then the fight actually is coming in a big one at that. I don't know. And I like the way they shoot those. They do the same thing with Jon is like when they were at Hardhome, I think it was Hardhome, where it's focused on one attacker. And then things just happen around him.
Right?
Like in both the other battles, is how they've done it. So it like kind of saves on money, I guess, because you have two horses collide here. This guy swings, but he gets stabbed with a spear. And this blows up. This rolls down the hill, and you're all watching from one point. You get to see it from Bronn's perspective through the whole battle and everything like that. So it's pretty cute.
Yeah,
but Jaime stays. Jaime holds his ground, man.
Yeah, and Jaime's kind of honorable in that battle because he says, "I'm not leaving my arm. I'm not leaving my men." Yeah. Even though Bronn says, "Well, you're not an infantryman. You get back in the castle." Jaime is honorable and says, "I'm not leaving these guys."
But he's trying to get his honor back, and I think that all came from Brienne, trying to push his honor back, even though he's still begging his sister like a big dummy. But whatever.
Do you think Bronn had forged a friendship with Jaime, and that's why he wanted to keep him safe, or do you think Jaime was kind of his meal ticket, or a little bit of both?
No, Bronn was actually they've been on trips before. Bronn went with him to Dorne.
Right, I know all that, but
they've kind of Bronn's the one that's trained him.
Yeah,
trained him since he lost his other hand.
Right.
I mean,
so
we want to make the buddy cop skit with Bronn
and Jaime, buddy cop
on TGIF, man. They got the buddy cop show at the end of the night.
They need,
those rascal adventures with Bronn and Jaime.
that airs later in the night. That before that is the Sam and Gilly
The
sitcom.
Sam and Gilly
Yeah.
comedy. Yeah, this is
Hour,
great sitcom. I love that.
But yeah, so that whole fight. So not only do we get the Dothraki army, who Opie, you brought up a great point. They're just finally got to get to fight somebody because they haven't gotten to fight anybody since season 1.
They just love to fight, man.
And the Dothraki are like,
They are so happy to be
each
doing
other.
that.
it's like let's have a wedding. Let's just fight each other.
Right, just so we can have so many people die at a wedding.
Hey, who wins? Who wins between the Dothrakis and the Unsullied?
That'd be a fight.
I mean, they won't fight. You know, they're
I'd
under.
probably say the Unsullied. The Unsullied would win. The Unsullied have been trained since they've been kids, man.
Yeah,
Just
probably.
They have no fear. They have no
Testicles and
well, that's the part of it.
Lou says a Dothraki would win.
I don't think so. Dothraki are fighters and everything, but they still have feelings and stuff. The Unsullied don't have feelings. They don't have anything. They are just it's like you're fighting the Borg or a Terminator group. They
Yeah.
just march in, they kill, and they get
absolutely
out.
will not stop. And Caroline, that is not nice. Jamie, Braun, and Tyrion spin off 2.5 Men. Wow, that is not
Nice.
that is
I
not
like
nice.
That is
The
hilarious.
views and opinions expressed by the Nerd Punch community may not be the views and opinions expressed by.
It doesn't matter if they're mounted, man. The Unsullied are these. They say it multiple times in the show. The Unsullied are the best trained fighters in the world. And that's why they get sold off all the time to all these slave owners because they are the best trained fighters in the world. So, I'm sorry, you come in on a horse, Unsullied's still going to take you down. Although we did see Dothraki like standing up on their mounts, shooting arrows and stuff.
That
It
was
like,
awesome.
whoa, these guys, they're horse lords. That's what they know. They love horses. That's their thing. So that was super cool. And then, of course, we see one chasing Braun around, and then he catches a giant arrow to the chest.
Ooh, that was pretty nice. The big, what do they call that machine? The
Scorpion.
Yeah, that was pretty neat to see that. And then, so not only do we get the TV folk, J-Dub, that's okay. You can go ahead. Yeah, we don't need a timeout for that. If you can reset that, J-Dub. But then after that, not only do we get the Dothraki army, we get Drogon flying in and just lighting everything up.
Burning them down. It's on
And-
fire.
And I just always kind of thought, dragons, would more shoot like fireballs and anything like that. But, I mean, it was just like streams of flame just destroying everything in its path.
Which is also funny. I enjoyed it was awesome seeing like Ron's running forward, and then you look up, and the dragon just flew over and burned all the carts behind him, and then he's dodging a Dothraki here and doing this. Again, they're putting all the attacks right there in the scene with him as he's moving through the fight, which was really cool. I love that. I think that's super cool. So,
and then so Drogon, which I mean I got scared there for a minute, because they at one point Jamie tells the archers to get ready, and Tyrion had mentioned that all it takes is one arrow to hit her on top of a dragon, and everything is different. But that didn't happen. I did like they shot arrows at him, and it just bounced off of his
turns
armor-plated chest or whatever.
Well, he does take an arrow. Braun finally does hit him.
And
after the first shot, he takes one shot to the arm, and he goes and lands. And Jamie finds this is his opening to try. And you just see Tyrion on the hill like, "Don't do it, bro! Don't do it, bro!"
Well, see,
Don't
that was
do
interesting.
it,
Like,
bro."
so did Tyrion go with them? I mean, I guess he went with the army, with the Dothraki army.
He's an advisor.
Yeah.
He'll stay back in the back.
He works with them. So we're not supposed to know when they left. And then it makes sense when John says, well, she's not here right now. And then you're like, oh, wait, she left.
Yeah.
He took her armies and he went with them. Yeah. There's more word for the dragon than any of the direwolves. I worry about the dragon. And yes, stuntmen are killing it this season. You're absolutely right.
Absolutely.
He stayed back, so he was fine. I thought it was awesome. I thought it was great. That whole battle sequence was super good.
I didn't know
Just as good as their other ones, and if not better.
So I didn't know if Tyrion was going to see Braun at the Scorpion and like run down there and try to stop him, or I didn't know if we were going to get like a Tyrion Bronn reunion, which apparently we didn't. I don't even know if Tyrion knew that Bronn was down there. I don't know if he saw
I don't
him.
think he did. He only saw Jamie, and then that was it. When he saw Jamie charging her,
And I don't know if Jamie saw Tyrion there.
No, you got to remember, Tyrion is way back on a hill. The only reason he even sees Jamie is because he's paying attention to Daenerys, who just landed with her dragon. And he kind of glances over and sees a guy on a horse. He's like, "Oh wait, that's my brother," and that's what makes him start saying, "No, don't do it. Don't be stupid. Don't be stupid." And Jamie about catches a fireball to the face, but it's either Dickon or Braun.
I think it was Braun.
Knocked him off the horse and pushed him into the water. And then we see him slowly sinking, and we fade to black.
Yeah. So that whole thing, man. I mean, I liked seeing the concern in Tyrion's face when
I think so too, Luke.
Drogon took the arrow, and you're right, Opie. I thought the arrows would be bigger, but they didn't really. I mean, sure, it looked like it hurt, but I mean, it was.
It's like J-Dubs and Lou corrected me last week. It's technically not a trebuchet; it's just a large crossbow.
Yeah, so but you.
Yeah, it's not a trebuchet at all.
No. And they it's not going to have huge arrows like you would see on a big old trebuchet or anything like that. It's just going to have giant bolts, which that was fine. It's going to hurt that dragon.
But they just, I mean, you know, when Cersei shot it through that dragon skull a couple weeks back, it just didn't. I mean, that thing looked like it was gonna. I don't know. I mean, they shot Bronn shot one and it missed, and I was thinking that too. Like when Cersei shot through the skull, I was like, yeah, but that dragon is just sitting still. Yeah. You know,
no, it's going to end up being where what's her face is going to get. Dany thinks she can keep winning, and she's going to go to King's Landing, and they're going to go, and she's going to try to do something there, and she's going to take a loss. She's going to lose a dragon.
I think so too.
She's either going to lose a dragon to Cersei, or she's going to lose a dragon to the Night's King, or the Night's Ice Man. I can't remember what it was. Anyways.
You think?
So we're gonna hold the honey.
I think she'll lose a dragon in a battle, is what I think. I mean, in a not to the Night King or not to the White Walkers, but I mean, she'll lose. You know, like we said. I mean, she's gonna take a loss. I mean, she's getting cocky, especially after this. She's probably gonna be a little cocky.
I don't think she'll lose it during. I think she's gonna push herself somewhere, or it could be a battle with the Night King in the undead, and he's going to kill one of her dragons, or she's gonna lose one to Cersei. She's going to lose one way. I think one of the dragons are going down. We're not going to see all three dragons make it all the way through.
At least one.
You may see more. Undead dragons?
Yeah.
You've heard Caroline, you've probably heard all the theories about there being an ice dragon, like in the wall, or there's one out there that the Night King is going to raise.
There's an ice dragon in the wall.
To fight the
I don't think there's an ice
dragons. There's all these theories about that could happen. So who knows?
But yeah, so that whole, I don't think I breathed through that entire last battle. I didn't know what was going to happen. We thought maybe Jamie was going to die during this battle, and that's the way they set it up. You know, like you said, Jamie's sinking down to the bottom of the lake or whatever. Jamie Lannister's not going to die in Game of Thrones just by drowning. I mean, Bronn's going to probably pick him up.
I just wish it was Jamie dies from an infection from a splinter early in the first season. That's how it goes. No, it's the last guys at the end, the little cover things were like they were talking like how this was the first battle where on both sides there's people that you don't want to die, and you have major characters on both sides of the battle fighting each other. This was the first battle out of all of them that this has happened. You can say Battle at the Blackwater was that too, but it wasn't as good as these. I mean, you only had Davos and Stannis on the other side of that one. And then, in the Battle of the Bastards, you hated the Boltons, so you didn't care who got leveled there. It was the fight where you're just like, whoa, Dany and Tyrion's on one side. Oh, you got Bronn and Jamie on the other side. I don't know who I want to die or who I want to live. And you're scared the whole fight. And you're just holding your breath, hoping nobody dies that you want.
Yeah, and J-Dub brought up a good point. You would have said that same thing about Ned Stark or everyone at the Red Wedding. They're not going to die this way. Oh, well, maybe Did any point during that last battle, or that last scene, at any point did you think Dany was going to die?
No.
Yes.
I didn't.
Really?
I thought the only thing I thought they were going to shoot that. I was scared worried that they were going to try to take out her favorite dragon. I would not think they'd kill her best dragon. I did not see that. I thought Jamie was going to die or Braun. And they were going to knock out one of those principal actors right there.
I think I thought Braun was for sure going to die when Drogon toasted the Scorpion. I thought he was going to be on this. So when he jumped out of the way, because I like Braun, I was happy about that, even though he's on the wrong side, in my opinion. Carolyn says, still think Jaime will kill Cersei, so he can't die yet.
So he'll turn on the queen just like he did the Mad King. And just
Ooh, he's the King Slayer and the Queen Slayer?
Yeah, he's gonna get double titles now, man.
Whoa.
And we gotta sit through all his titles. Jaime Lannister, Queen Slayer, King Slayer, Sansa's name, so cute.
Lefty.
Lefty. Italian Stallion.
Lefty Lannister. Yeah, Cersei's. I think Cersei's gonna die. It's just the question of who kills.
So the real question: who is the big character that dies this year, though? This season, out of these 7 episodes, I think it's Littlefinger.
I don't. Well,
it's either
could be because because I like the idea that Arya kills Littlefinger and takes his face, and Arya is there with Littlefinger, and she looked at him in Winterfell.
Mm-hmm.
She just kind of looked at him with that thought. She knows he's not.
Yeah, she doesn't.
A good dude.
Bran also knows he's on the up and up. Bran knows everything.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Brand's got
artists unformably known as
right.
Bran.
Brad Raven, come on, he's
Brand's hacked everybody's
Yeah.
iPhone location. He's like,
So,
saw you at the
in fact,
crossroads, seen
I
what
think
shade.
the final episode is the wall falling. I think that
I do too.
I think that's gonna be the final episode. 'Cause
Walls not gonna fall.
the next episode is the Night King
The wall's not going to fall
Why do you not think the wall's gonna fall? Why do you think it's gonna stay up?
because they're coming around it.
How are they gonna get around it?
That's Brand said they were coming around it.
Oh, they're marching to the east, where the weakest point is. That's where the Brothers Without Banners are going.
But that's where everybody went. That's where the Brothers of Banner said that he saw a great. It doesn't matter. Part of the wall is going to come down, whether it's in the east or it's in the west.
Yeah, part of it.
Part of it's coming down.
Maybe not the whole thing. Although that would be awesome if the whole thing.
I think the whole thing should go.
Dude, that would be the awesomest last scene, like the very last scene of the season. The entire wall just falls, and then we don't get anything else for another year. I mean, that would be pretty.
That'd be pretty intense.
That'd be pretty sweet. And I kind of feel like maybe that's what's going to happen. That's the last thing we'll see this season is the wall falling.
So that I think will be the big thing for the final episode. But I think some major character will die, whether it's Cersei, whether it's Jaime, whether it's Littlefinger, or maybe even Euron. Euron may, but I don't think Euron will. I don't see that happening.
I don't think Euron is. I mean, sure, if Euron dies, that's not big enough. I almost wonder if like maybe Cersei dies, or do they? I kind of see. There's only 4 episodes left.
Yeah,
this season.
No, there's only 3 episodes left this season, man.
Seth Rollins is the Kingslayer.
we've only got 3 episodes this season.
No, this was number 4. Oh, there's 7. Right. You're right. There's only 3 more. Because I was kind of thinking that
challenge me again.
I was kind of thinking that the Game of Thrones, the game of the Iron Throne, would be finished up this season, and all next season is the battle with the White Walkers. But there's only 3 episodes left, so I don't think there's enough time to wrap all that up.
No, I don't even think there'll be resolution at the end of the series. There's not going to be a resolution.
You don't think like some person is going to be on the Iron Throne at the end?
I think that it will. They'll stop what's happening from the north, maybe, and that will be it. But the battle for Westeros may be coming to another conclusion. But then somebody else will rise up saying they have. I don't know. That may just stay in chaos.
Maybe it's
the Night King comes through and kills everybody, and now it's just a frozen.
Oh, what if it ends with the Night King on the Iron Throne?
There you go.
What if everybody dies except the White Walkers? Wouldn't that be something? We've been watching this for what will have been 8 years, and
that would have just cap it off. I mean, it's like, hey,
he just ends up wrecking the whole world. Yeah, he just kills everyone.
Like all these characters, no, I'm gonna kill him.
I mean that would be crazy. We would have been watching this for 8 years when it's all done. All this planning to fight the White Walkers, and it doesn't work, and everybody dies. I don't think
the whole thing of the wall falling is just because Bran got touched by the Night King,
right?
Which now he knows where Bran is, and supposedly the Night King can't get through the wall due to the magics that's on him. But because Bran went through with the mark, that knocked those magics away, and so now the Night King can pass through the wall without any problem, and bring all the undead with him.
Yeah,
so
Lou
that's
says,
why everybody's saying the wall's going to fall.
Yeah, Lou says the Night King touches it and it crumbles. That's what I think too. I think it'll be something very simple. it's not going to be like a big explosion. I think it's going to be something simple, like just touching it, or they just walk through it or whatever.
Well, remember the wall is not the wall itself anymore. It's like 400 or 800 foot of ice that is
Right.
built up around the wall now, and it's like just a mountain range up there.
Sure.
So all the ice could just crumble off of it. Now, whether the regular wall will fall or not, but even if it falls, there's still going to be a lot of rubble there to get through. Around. It's still going to act as a wall. So who knows? Who knows what's going to happen?
Dude, and then if it falls, I'm interested in seeing the opening, like the opening scene, because you always see the bit with Winterfell and the thing going up. Now it's just gonna be a big bunch of rubble.
Yep, that's it.
But yeah, so this episode probably the best of the season so far.
He must have touched my ex-wife. Going to me too.
She cold. Yeah, she's cold.
So yeah, the best episode of the season, I think. Not the best of the series, but still one of the coolest battles we've seen in the series so far.
Yeah.
I don't think it tops, the Battle of the Bastards or the one at the wall. That one episode where the entire thing was at the wall and there was just one giant battle at the wall.
Better than that. I think this is better. It had more choreography, a lot more fighting.
And dragons. We haven't really got to see the dragons just unleash for that long, or even a dragon.
Yeah,
I really see it unleash.
It's super good. I thought it was best of this one too. So.
3 episodes left. I can't believe it.
You know?
It feels like we only just started, which I guess we did.
We're not even going to get into the love story of Danny and John just yet. I mean, that's still got to come around, and they're going to fall in love and get married. And find out
no, they're not, because they're related. They're aunt and nephew.
Doesn't matter.
Angry Coast, couple of cool dragon swoops, though. Yeah, you're right.
Very cool dragon swoop.
Well, I love that. Like I said, I love that shot of just the constant fire as it buzzes, just lays waste to everything in front of it. I thought that was pretty awesome. Yeah, they mentioned that at the. I kind of had this weird Luke and Leia vibe for a second when Danny and John were in the cave. But I was like, that's just whatever. That's just me being stupid.
Keep thinking it. Just keep thinking what you think.
And then at the end, in the little bit at the end, talking with the producers, well, that might be. They mentioned that.
I've been telling Matt this the entire time. If any of you have read the history of Westeros, you would know this. It's been over 300 years. Targaryens came in and conquered the 7 kingdoms. They only marry Targaryens. That's how they lived for the longest time. They kept it in their family. They wanted their blood pure. It is weird and gross, but that is how this world was built. Now, 200 years later, the Septons started saying, that's a little weird. You guys shouldn't be sleeping with your brother and sister. It didn't matter. The Mad King didn't care. Family slept with family. They were married together. That's how it was. You're going to have to get over your incest hate, Matt, okay? And learn what this history of that family is.
The reason I brought up earlier about thinking that Danny could put High Garden back together or whatever, because I think that she could have hit them a little harder than she did. Maybe just made for TV or whatever, but right. I think she really could have wiped them that army out.
I think they pretty much did.
She could have. Yeah, she could have burned everything. I think she could have.
But I thought there was something. I thought there was something left over, and in the previous episode, wasn't she talking to who was the prisoners that were left?
The moment family
reunions get more interesting.
They're all from Alabama in Westeros.
Lou, take that out. There goes our Alabama demographic. Thanks a lot.
There you go.
I'm from the South, so I can take shots at it. It's totally cool. No, I'm with you. I mean, yeah, there's scenes of her trying to get some of the soldiers to turn over to her side. So we'll see what happens from there.
Or maybe it was Sam's family.
I don't think she wanted to fry everybody. I don't know. I mean, it was a one-sided win. I mean, they were on the run, all of them. They had broken their lines. The Thrakis had run.
It's true.
It's just in the battle when it's over. It's like some people are still alive and they just throw their weapons down. It's like, all right, you got me. You killed all our buddies. So there'll be a group of them there. She could have smoked all of them if she wanted to.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But
hey, I just thought about it. Did Sam's dad get away?
Because
all we saw was Dickon.
I don't know if Dickon got away.
I think if Dickon would have died, we would have seen it. So I don't think he's dead.
What about his dad?
I think if Sam's dad had died, we would have seen it.
Maybe they're lesser characters, so it's not as super important.
But they're building him up a little bit. Plus, they're related to Sam, and so
Yeah, but I think they wanted to focus just on Jaime, Braun, and Daenerys in that battle. That's where they concentrated
Right.
at. So I don't think they wanted to break from those three leads running that whole battle. So whether they got killed in the battle, and it could come up like those characters are not as important as those three, and so at the end they could do something in the first and the next episode where Jaime's on the battlefield holding Dickon. And just like
We're 12.
oh,
And apparently Braun is too.
Sorry, it's just the greatest name in the entire world.
You can tell that he's hurt. He's gotten crap for that his whole life because when he said, when he mentioned that,
Right.
he goes, well, when Braun calls him Rickon, he goes, Dickon,
Thanks for the follow, Angry.
Yeah, sorry. I think the notification will pop up here in a second. But if not, Angry Coast, thanks for following. There it is. Angry Coast, you follow me, bro? There is your punch. You can keep that and do with it what you will. You can ride it in the air, and it will breathe fire on your enemies.
That is not what happens with that.
Lou, so he died with Dickon?
He did. Died with Dickon.
Unreal. But
anyways, we got to wrap this up. We've been doing this for like an hour.
Yeah, my bad. Well, dude, it was a good episode, and Dickon,
And now Homie's putting spaceships in our Game of Thrones episode. I mean,
the Millennium Falcon would have toasted everything.
right.
I don't know why they didn't bring that in there.
Because that doesn't exist.
So anyway, guys, we're gonna go. It's bedtime, I think, for everybody.
Yeah. Thanks everybody for watching. We totally appreciate it. We got three
Thank
more
you.
episodes to go through.
3 more episodes of Game of Thrones. For those that are new here, we do stream every single day, 8 to midnight, Monday through Thursday. That's Eastern time, U.S. Eastern time. Friday nights, usually around 10 or so Eastern, till whenever. And Saturday mornings, I stream 9 a.m. Eastern. And then we do this Game of Thrones show after every episode. Every Sunday night. We'll do it for the next 3 weeks because we've got 3 more episodes left. I stream Monday and Wednesdays. Dan right there next to me streams Tuesdays and Thursdays. And then Friday nights we're all on doing goofy stuff like this, playing games, drinking beer, whatever. So that's the schedule. J-Dub got the schedule in the chat, so thanks for that. Let me give you guys some punches too for all of our chatters. It was a good conversation this week. It was an awesome episode. Guys, so
Not prepared. You are not prepared.
this guy right here would have won everything right there if he were in. If he were in the show, he would be on the Iron Throne. 'Cause he has the power.
He-Man's definitely Dothraki.
He's total Dothraki. But he's not. Well, I mean, he's not a Lord of Horses or anything, but he likes tigers.
That's true.
That's true.
That's true. So he's a cat lover. He-Man's a cat woman, I think.
All right, guys,
anyways,
we're out of here. Thank you so much for all the subs, the followers, the lurkers, the chatters, all of that. Guys, thank you so much. We will be back tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern. I will be playing some more Wolfenstein: The New Order, which is super fun. And I think this week we maybe do some Fortnite together. Wolfenstein, I'm not sure what else. Lots of good stuff, though. It's going to be fantastic. I don't know what you're doing.
I don't know what I'm doing.
Oh, Opie just hung up, I guess. Okay, he was whatever.
He was done.
There he goes.
He's finished. I'm going to. I don't know what I'm playing Tuesday. I'll let everybody know in Discord. Join our Discord.
We need to do some Fortnite.
Maybe we'll see. We'll see what I'm playing. So I'll tell you then. Anyways, we're done. We got to go.
Yep,
Look,
we're
guys.
out, guys. Thank you so much. We will see you tomorrow night. Bye bye.